Oh, wait, there is somebody. Okay, let me admit this person. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah, we can see.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Hidayat Sani, and I am an evangelist at the Women Coding Community. So, who are we? We are the Women Coding Community, and our hope is to build a safe environment for women to thrive in tech. Our mission is to empower women to be at the forefront of technology and innovation. And our vision is to empower women in their tech careers through education, mentorship, community building, and career services. All of the above. We are here to help. And currently, we have so many tracks. We provide workshops, events. We connect members through with industry mentors. We have our mentorship program, and we also foster a supportive community. 1 minute, I may just have to go in here because people keep coming in. So, and I'm going to read out our code of conduct. So at Women Coding Community, we're committed to a vibrant, supportive community where women can network, share their experience, and foster professional relationship regardless of age, gender, visible or invisible disability, ethnicity, gender expression, level of experience, education, socioeconomic status, nationality, race, religion, personal appearance, sexual orientation, or preferred programming languages. We don't tolerate any discrimination here. And currently we have so many projects. We have our mentorship program. You can join our Slack, just scan the barcode and you will be admitted into our Slack channel and be updated on all our projects. We have our open source. You can contribute to our platform or our current website we're building. We have the back end and the front end. I am volunteering for the front end and it's amazing. So if you want to apply your skills, you can join us. We have the book club, the writing club, the speaking club, the Python club, and the civic clinic. And then we're going to be having some mock interviews, programs, contributor groups, lead code. We have the lead code currently, the design track, the machine learning track, the cloud track, and the QA track. Some of our upcoming events are design patterns, which happened yesterday, but you can still join for the next one. We have our career talks, and we have our panel discussion that will be coming up. Let me admit these people. So here at Women Coding Community, please feel free to volunteer with us. Like, we have so many programs and events that are happening that you can volunteer your help into. You can give a talk, write a blog, contribute to open source, newsletters, support our programs, and many other things. So if you're interested, you can just scan this barcode and volunteer with us. What are the benefits? I'm a bona fide volunteer. I started from the Women Who Code community, then we transferred to Women Coding Community, and I've been volunteering for this program for about 2-3 years now, and it's amazing. You get to meet people, you get to put something on your CV, you get to talk this in your interviews, and you get tickets to events, conferences, and just connect with a community, and it's amazing. So thank you, and join us to help our mission, scan our barcode, join our Slack, volunteer with us, attend our events, and yeah, thank you very much. So I'm going to stop sharing now, then Nonna will take over.
Thank you, Hidayat, for really inspirational intro. So I came to the community about 7 months ago. And
Oh,
the community is amazing. I love
it
the
is.
initiative, and I started with a lead code club, a lead code study group, and
Oh,
that's where I am. Now I'm running the coding club.
amazing. Well done, Nina. And thank you.
And I think this we started this coding club for everyone who wanted to jump into the Python, or probably was never program on Python and some other languages using the algorithm before, because
Yes.
this is the base course, just a good foundation for the lead code, for the interviews. For my working
Yes.
experience, the code interviews, and most of them ask some lead code tasks known of algorithms. But
Mm-hmm.
okay, we cannot solve the hard on the Python coding club, but we can start with the easy. And it's really essential to start with a simple chunks and after build the more complicated things based on this. And that is why we decided to start Coding Club Python. It's right now it's not structured, more like ad hoc sessions, but probably since the beginning of next year, we wanted to organize the group, which will follow from session to session, probably 10
Yes.
sessions, not too many, but let's start what we have right now. So right now we have the coding lab 5. This is the 5th session, if I'm not mistaken, and where I am, and I'm starting in presenter mode. Let me know if you can see my screen.
I can see it perfectly.
So we on the previous session we covered the what's Python, different IDs, very basic structures like lists, arrays, what the function, and you can find all this on our YouTube channel, previous records. And today we decided, because we received a request to give some explanation based on the book Grokking Algorithms. And this session will be about one topic from this book. And I want to show you this book. This is famous Grokking Algorithms book. What's interesting there, that this is book with a really simple explanations, because we have another one book, Breaking the Coding Interviews. It's much more advanced, probably for people who are confident in math and programming before and need just to keep this algorithm structure on the programming language they already know. But this one starts from the really basics. It has a lot of illustration. But probably sometimes this book uses many of examples from the real life, but if you never dealt with the programming and if you're not trying to solve lead code tasks, it's really hard to read this book and start to solve the exercises directly. So there need to be something in between. And I think that we can have this connection between the first basics of the book. The book is fun, absolutely easy reading. And I found of course, pirate-free PDF, and I put it in our Python Slack. It's not the book you will read from time to time, but for one time, it's okay. And after, you can have more complicated materials. So what the people thought about this book, that this is the introduction to algorithms for readers who know any prior experience in computer science or programming, and aimed for the beginners, students, and professionals who want to gain an understanding of algorithms without getting bored in complex mathematics. But spoiler, unfortunately, you need to get bored by complex mathematics to understand the algorithm, but we're trying to do it in the simplest way. And I put here in this slide these advantages and disadvantages, because every educational resources can be brilliant from my side, from one side, and can have some issues from other one. So what I love about this book, this is illustrations, creative examples, very entertaining book. As you can see here, this was the binary search and big O notation explained on the some books example. Visual is fine, entertaining, great for reading in underground, beginner friendly. Yes, because it didn't use any advanced terms. Practical examples, yeah, they have practical examples, most of them as an algorithm, so you can implement it on the programming language you already know or started to learn. Step-by-step approach. Yeah, probably step by step, but the book started not from the very beginning, and that is why maybe we can restructure this for easy understanding, for more easily understanding. Engaging style, absolutely agree. Style is engaging, good for interviews. I was looking for a job last year, and I have about 20 technical coding interviews, and probably it's not good for interviews because it's not the preparation, but it can be a start if you allocate for preparation 6 months. Yeah, this is the really good start. Only this book is not enough for the interviews, but no one was born with a skill of coding interviews, so everyone started with something. So, okay, if they wanted to consider it good for interviews, okay. Disadvantages, limited depth, yeah, and this is my point. So after this book, probably it's hard to start to solve lead code exercises because you need something more, and that is why we wanted to do several sessions on Coding Club to give you to structurize this knowledge and give you more focused view and start to implement this on the lead code club or other algorithm exercises. Simplified explanation, yes, but also for most of the people who started doing tech or thinking about tech, and everyone have math in school, probably some explanation from the math side will be easier to understand. And yeah, they didn't use so many complexity analysis. We will do this. And lack of exercises, but I think it depends from the purpose. Of course, it will not the full set of exercise to go to the interview to Meta, but there are so many resources around, so probably it's not a disadvantage. And let's have a look from the beginning. The first chapter of this book is Introduction to Algorithms, and it looks like a serious educational content, but it's much more engaging and entertaining in comics and so on. So you can start to read it without any prior preparation. But for me, they started right after binary search, and it looks like, okay, you start to learn programming, let's do binary search. But first, probably we need to figure out what the binary, what the search, what the problem here. But I absolutely agree that big O notation, this is the basics, this essential basics when you need it in every programming language, especially in Python, because the Python not the fastest language, and you need to think about the optimization of your solution really carefully. And that is why I decided today, as we have 30 minutes, this big O example, I will explain in 30 minutes just to give you the first view. And I recommend you after this hour session to read this, how many pages? 9 pages about the big O, and probably to compare what you already heard and what you read, and maybe watch this again or try to ask ChatGPT what is big O. And I think all of these parts can fill this puzzle. So let's start with big O. And this is about the complexity of algorithms. And this complexity of algorithms, you need to know solving the leet code problems because they are time sensitive and memory sensitive. And also this will be your every time question on the interviews because you will be asked, or you can say from the beginning that what will be the space and time complexity, and you should be able to assess your own solution. And even if you will start with a not very optimal brute force solution, every time you can improve it if you know where you can improve it. And it calls in programming big O notation. So we have, let's think from this point that, yeah, on the left side, you can see the screen from the book, big O notation, and a cool story about the space. But let me try to explain you on some simple example. And let's think about the computational, like something that computer can calculate. And in every computer, we call it RAM machine, random access memory. I see this typo, sorry. And this not so raw, this is really RAM. And this is type of computer with random access memory. And you can access this memory cell in some particular unit of time. And this average cell and cells can be combined in long arrays consisting of individual bytes. And also any elementary arithmetic or logical operation that use one cell can be completed for the one-time unit. And how we can consider the complexity of algorithm. So the complexity of the algorithm is the order of the number of actions depending on the size of input data. So we every time we have we can estimate the size of input data, and we should calculate how long how long will it take to process this amount of data. We call it big O notation, which comes from mathematical analysis. And in mathematical analysis, this is the asymptotic growth rate of functions. So if you will Google big O notations many of times, you will receive this graph with the different charts. And this is about the velocity of growth of the function. And in every case, it writes like a big O with the N in brackets. And let's have a look in the details. So we let's pretend that we have some algorithm or some Python program and some function, and we have the size of input data n, and we can finish this program for the time t. But what will happen if the input amount of data increased by 10 times, for example, 10 times, any amount of times? So if the complexity will be O from n, the program will be slower in 10 times. If this will be n log n, this will be approximately 30 times, and quicksort have this n log n complexity. And as the analogy, you can calculate that there will be slowed down 100, 1000, or if you have O from 1, there will be no slowdown. Because some operations, when you access every cell just once, there will be no slowdown because it doesn't depend how many data you have. And here, in every program, especially when we do the coding interview, why they do this example? Because this is about the estimation scalability of final solution. As you know, many of services use the almost real-time processing, and the big data is really big. So this is the very useful skill, not only for getting the interview, but also in your other jobs when you will write some production code. And here you should be really careful about how long it will take. And also there every time a trade-off, because if you have something very complex, if you have something that should work really fast, the solution can be really complex and going through all the edge cases, and this will be probably much harder to write, but it will work faster. But in other cases, probably you need to implement something really quick. For example, in some data analysis code, or when you do some research, you don't care about how fast this program will work, probably this one-time run. But you need to implement it quickly and to test some hypotheses or to see the outcome, probably, and go after. So it's this complexity. It's not every time about the fastest program. You should make the decisions, take into account any additional details. And probably right now it sounds complicated, but let's try to have a look on the example. And I found this example. This is the one of the graph tasks. You can find it on some LeetCode or everything. And this is simple. This is short, but it used a different complexity, because the program, some different parts of program can have the different complexity. And generally speaking, this is the Floyd's algorithm for finding the shortest path between any pair of vertices in graph. And these graph tasks liked for the interviews. But right now we don't care about the meaning of this task. We just wanted to estimate the complexity. And on the first part, first two lines, this is the list assignment. And also we read the variables. So we do this once for every element of this list. And the complexity here will be all from 1. After, we started to be in the loop. And as you can see here, we will do this for every element in our previous list. And we read the matrix, because the graphs described by matrices. And we read this matrix. If you can imagine the matrix before you, this is there some rows and columns. And in this case, this will be zeros and ones. And also probably some negative values, because this is the weight. So we should read the columns and we should read the rows. And here we know what each line, that each line has a length of n. And we know that we have many of these lines. And in this list, we just read in the every line, and we split the string, and we assign the values and add every of these values to new dict. And we do it for every element. So we do it n times for n elements, and complexity here will be all from n, because we do n times for n operations. And after, as you can see here, we can even 3 loops, and you can make an assumption what will be complexity here. And this assumption probably will be successful, because in these loops we do for every of n elements, and we do it 3 times for in every of them. So this will be, we iterate through these loops, and despite we have this some elementary actions, we're choosing the minimum of 2 numbers and 1 operation here, but we need to have 2-dimensional array. And here we will have the complexity of O from n, cubic n. I forgot the word, how will be in English this. Okay. And in nested loops, we have O from n3. And the last part, for according to, in terms of the complexity, costs almost nothing, because we iterate from the all rows of our matrix. And after, we need to find 1 element with the value negative than 0 and print this one. And as I mentioned before, it doesn't matter what exactly do this algorithm. Right now, we just practicing the complexity estimation. And here we have we do 1 time for every element to compare this with the null and do print. And this printing will be O from 1, because we're doing this once for in case of successful. But we have some difference in between Python and more fast languages, but right now we don't care about the time it takes, and we can say that this will be O from 1. And right now, when we estimate all the part of these tasks, we wanted to say what will be the overall complexity. And we started to think about what will happen if we will increase the amount of input data. So if we will increase this, I think you cannot see my cursor. Okay, if we will increase the first part of this program, nothing changed in the time, because we will have the same time for this part. If we will increase the number of input data 10 times, so we will have slowed down 100 times because of this part. And when our program will work further with the 10 times of the data, the slowdown will be 1000. And overall, all the program will be slowed by 1000 times. That is why we use this, the highest estimation, and in programs when we will be answering the question, what will be the complexity, we will take the highest from them. And probably I was so fast, but I want to conclude with some practical tips. So I tried to explain how to assess the complexity of the program, but not every time, probably, especially at the beginning, you can analyze this, and probably if you will induct, if you estimate this properly, we have our best friend ChatGPT, and you can put your code here when you're practicing, and not only ask to analyze the complexity, but also explain how it was done. I tried this, it works fine, but probably in some cases it returns more math, but anyway, you can ask to simplify it. And also, when you will be practicing, I recommend LeetCode as a practice. There will be not the complexity in the ED, but you can check any other decision which you consider more optimal, and receive the explanation there. And right now, I wanted to stop the presentation, but here are your questions to discuss this one. Maybe I can start with a question. So does anyone here read this Grokking Algorithms book before?
I think there are some questions in the chat. So I don't know if you can see them.
Yeah, and square it. Thank you. But how will be n in the cube? N cubed. Oh, I was trying to find the word with the and with the power.
Squared is for the volume, for cubic square. So it's the little number at the top, the NC2 EC_N2 squared, or this formula. But for the sum of the parts. But yeah, it's the cubic square number that's just above the whatever number you're trying to, whatever volume cubic volume you're trying to square. I think that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, m to the power of 3. Yeah, I remember this. This is the power. Also see the question, why print and not return? Because here in this, it doesn't matter. We can do return or we can do any print. Anyway, it will read our particular cell just one time. So in terms of the complexity, this has no difference between this. Yeah, and if we consider for E in range n, then it will be complexity O from n. Yeah, because we do the same operation for the every element of the loop, and it means that we will do this. We will call this array n times. And maybe my question will, yeah, I leave my question. What about the Grokking algorithms? Did you read this before? Maybe not. So as I mentioned, I put it in our Slack channel. We have the Python coding channel, and I use this one, grading for coding interviews, but it's not looks really optimistic for preparing for the coding interviews, but it's fine as the big book and all the algorithms still there. But for me, I prefer a more interactive way. And on LeetCode, I know that there are some subsets of the tasks which are available for free, or if you have subscription. And I found LeetCode more useful there, because even if they have some explanation of the solution, also the other contributors, other people who are trying to solve this, offer their own solution. And in some cases, this can be not effective at all, because this is not the best solution. But in other cases, it works even better than in explanation. And it's really trained your brain when you see the different solution of the same problem after you started to think every time what will be another way to solve it. Because if we are talking on the one example where we need the algorithms, this is the coding interview, we expected to offer the several solutions, not the only one. Or if the first one will be absolutely amazing and fine, but every time interviewer will ask you what else you can do there. And it's really great to train you how to think in the different ways. And also the second application, when you will do this at work, there's also a really useful skill, because even if you receive some legacy from the previous developers, at some point, for example, when your services became bigger and you need to make it faster and you need to do refactoring because it's started to be too slow, you will need to refactor it in the different way. And with this complexity, maybe we will practice to do it for the every task, for the basic algorithms, but maybe not for some home tasks or something there, not for a very advanced algorithms, because there will be probably the result will be more important. But at the beginning, we will do this. And this was the really basics, which will relate to all the algorithm tasks, despite of the question. And here, this coding club, it's aimed for Python. And that is why I want to know from you who was using Python before and what the level, because when we are thinking about our course, we wanted to estimate what the level of materials we wanted to offer. So question number 1, who were using Python before? You can see the reaction. Registry. I have 3 from 14. Okay. Fine. Learning through a full stack bootcamp. And what IDE are you using? Because some good news from our community that we are in partnership with the JetBrains company, and JetBrains is the developer of PyCharm, and PyCharm absolutely fine, and PyCharm is amazing. And also they have some inside EDE learning resources, and that is why I was thinking to dive into there. And that is why maybe next session we will try more practice, and for this practice we will need this PyCharm, but it's community edition, it's absolutely fine. Oh, I see some. So, Louis, do you want to give us more details about this bootcamp?
Yes, that's fine. I can do that. Please excuse my voice because I've got a cold at the moment. So it's an fully online bootcamp for career changers, and it's throughout the UK. And it's fully funded by the government. It lasts for 16 weeks, and we cover HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and now we're just doing Python. And then we do several projects. We start with an individual project, we do a hackathon, and then we've got our capstone project coming up where we're expected to create a site that encompasses all of the languages that we've learned. And then we have a final hackathon. But the idea is to help us to get our first jobs in tech.
Sounds really good, because with this really full stack, you have a lot of variety of jobs.
Yeah, it's been very intense, I'm not going to lie, but it's been really good because it's full time, so it's Monday to Friday 9 to 5, and then quite often you'll end up doing things on weekends, but yeah, it's been really rewarding so far.
And in part of the Python, what's the main focus? Some theory like algorithms or probably application?
More application. They have touched on algorithms briefly, and I think I've seen a few YouTube videos on algorithms before I started the course. But because there is a lot of content, we did a lot about user experience. We learned about different libraries. There've been some walkthrough projects as well. It's there's not so much time spent on any one area. It's very spread out. So I feel like it's a good overview of a lot of things, but maybe we're not going into the details so much.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
And as I mentioned, we wanted to do the Python course, which is purely for Python, and also some requests we received to do a data analysis course. And one of our volunteers preparing the NumPy right now, and probably even for someone who started Python, not for data analysis, for more backend and software engineering tasks, this NumPy will be useful as well. And we just a short announce that we plan to do it in 3 sessions, like intro course, starting from the second half of November, to complete it before Christmas, before the 2 weeks before Christmas, and not to bother people at Christmas Eve with the programming. So if someone interested, just keep an eye on our updates. We will do this one. Also, after we will do the same for pandas, and this probably for those who are more interested in the data analyst track. But I know that nothing stop everyone to do this pandas. But in the world of big data, my main specialty is data engineer. But I was started as a data scientist several years ago, and that time the pandas was fine. But right now we have so many fast and a lot of data, which also every service wanted to stream right now and train LLM right on the there. And when it, oh no, not pandas, we need to do some Spark and so on. But pandas is great for research, and also for those who maybe do their master thesis or PhD or some more research tasks, it still work fine. And also, I recommend you to use ChatGPT. Sometimes it, of course, has the hallucinations. Sometimes it can do some wrong solution, but for most of the basic algorithms, it will be OK. And the most important part is to give it context and to keep this prompt simple and clear. And also doesn't trust from the first sight. So every time I try to challenge this or use some additional resources. And maybe, yeah, this the yet another, but probably not so popular resource, this Perplexity AI. Perplexity, this is the same LLMs, not the same kind as in ChatGPT, but this even great because when you compare the results from both of them, you can find some differences. And also, I could recommend for code the last, probably most latest, which fine for code if you do some Python. This will be Claude, and they have in free version, they have no subnet, but in the production version they had. This is the same chatbot which can help you with coding, and I tried the Claude for the commenting pod. It was fine, not too bad, but it was still all of them doesn't work good for some tasks which need a lot of context. But the spoiler here that for educational tasks they work fine, but in production when you use it at work, maybe it will be slightly weird, because in every company you have a lot of your inner tools, workflows, context, and you can share it with the neural networks. And if you have not your enterprise LLM, you cannot train it properly, and that is why don't trust them in production. But for educational purpose, I found them really useful. And also, you can ask them to find you explanation of some algorithms I tested on the Grokking Algorithms books, and I ask ChatGPT to give me an example for example, prefix sum for these Grokking algorithms, to check how depth it has. It has no the prefix sum, but prefix sum is really popular, but it can do some other comprehensions and give you some other resources. Or you can ask them summarize chapter 1 for you and give you main ideas if you have no time to read this. I don't remember how many pages we have there, but yeah, encourage you to use these LLMs. Skynet never will fight us, but for educational, this works absolutely fine. And also, I wanted to ask for the next topic. What will be the interested topic for you for the next time? Let's try to have the elections. We are not America, we can afford it. And so, what will be the topic? I wanted to do the prefix sums, where it can be used in some typical tasks when, for example, calculate the number of zeros in the given array, or find the longest subsequence in the array with the maximum sum. And these tasks are really popular on the interviews, and the algorithms is really simple. And when you train this idea of prefix sums, it seems that these type of tasks you can be able to solve, because the yet another skills for the points on the interview. When you see some tasks, you should identify the algorithms or type of the tasks, and if you see it and you offer the solution with a proper algorithm, this will work. So what would you like to explore? You can put it in the chat. If someone's still not sleeping.
Do you have does this club has the Slack channel?
Yeah, our Slack channel is in a women coding community called the Broch Coding Python, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yes, Broch Coding Club Python. Oh, I will send the reference here.
I would join too, because I am also interested in Python. So I'm currently just working with React and front end and all of that. So do more analysis and Python. So I would love to also join the club.
Yeah, problem solving from idea to code. From idea to code.
Would you like me to explain that? So
yeah,
we very much have learned how to write code. And then when we're asked to create something, it's that missing link of, okay, how do I break it down to know what it is that I need? Because I think one thing I've been doing that wrong, seemingly, is I take it apart and I think, okay, well, there's a variable there. Well, let's make that a variable. Let's make that a variable. And then they're not actually needed. So I think the way I'm taking it apart to put it back together is incorrect. And they don't really cover that in the course. It's very much at code level and then at this abstract level rather than kind of the missing piece. I don't know if that's something you normally do here, but that's just something I'm working on anyway.
Yeah, I think we can try to explore this because there are the other part of the technical interviews which called system design, and on the system design this will be the idea, and when you identify what components do you need, what services do you need, and you decompose this idea to the different technical parts you need to implement, and after you know how this will be working, you can work on every part. And most of the time, the system design interview looks like offer your architecture for the Netflix service. Sounds fine, really engineer things, but in most of the cases, when we work on the real world tasks, on the work, there are some new features which we need to implement. And yeah, I think there will be some really practical examples how the developers do it on their jobs, because in ideal world you receive the requirements and someone create a task for you and product owner estimate the business value and everything fine. It never worked this way, and every time you need to really figure out in your head how you wanted to do this and what will be the best solution. As someone who doesn't code, context helps me a lot. Otherwise, I don't know what problems or identify the logic side. Yeah, let's do this for the next time. Our next one will be at the beginning of December, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this will be beginning. And let's explore this one, how we will start to solve the problem before the writing the code and after what we need to write the code, because we will meet requirements anyway. Thank you for the great idea. And what I'm going to do after this session, so we will have this record. Also, I will put these examples with a presentation in our Slack channel, and I will put this Grokking Algorithms PDF as well. So this will be the materials for this session, and we'll keep you updated about the next one. Because probably for me, this will be like a therapy session. What I did in my job and what did wrong. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming today. Yeah, Kali?
Kali, do you want to talk?
Oh,
Miss. No problem. Thank you everyone for joining. And yeah, I will stop the recording now. Then